Welcome, everybody, to the Magistry of March. Our early games, no surprise. Could there be a surprise in the late games here in Tampa? The number 9 seed, Iowa, set to take on the number 8 seed, Clemson Tigers. Ron Groover's going to center floor. Our night session is underway, and Iowa will control the tip. And boy, Sturts has the ball in his hands an awful lot during the course of a game. And it has been on the scouting reports of numerous opponents to try to speed Sturts up, get him to rush, get him to turn it over, but he still, no matter what level, maintains his composure. Hawkeyes get into the paint. Banks keeps his pivot foot.
Clemson is playing a man-to-man.
But Johnson is on him first.
They'll try to make it difficult for you to get in the lane.
And the three right out of the gate for Combs. He was left open, a little sweet lefty stroke. And you might notice the shot clock is going to dwindle down quite a bit for Iowa. They are comfortable shooting with under 4 seconds on the shot clock. Yeah, in fact, Brad Brownell said they probably have some of the best offensive sets when the shot clock is 7 seconds or less. Davidson from the free throw line off the front of the rim. Sturts with the rebound. Right back at it. Banks directing traffic. Sturts off the screen. Sturts gives it off to Combs. Pass is deflected down low. And the first turnover is forced by Porter.
And Clemson is also not looking to run either. They're going to play at a little bit faster pace, obviously, than Iowa, but they're not looking to go up and down.
Yeah, both teams average about 75 points per game. Porter for 3. It's good. He splashed it home. That is a good sign for Clemson, as they need to be able to knock down some threes so that they can get the ball into Godfrey and work in the paint, which is what they like to do.
And Porter's their most important three-point shooter. He started the year very well and tailed off an ACC play, but they play much better when he's making threes.
He's on the doorstep of 1,500 points for his career. Combs to the free throw line. Manial down low for Banks, wide open. Little high-low action.
You know, that's hard to guard people that long through the shot clock when they're moving so much.
And patience is power. Coach McCollum has shown that at every single level. Division II won 4 championships. At Drake, won their first round matchup last year. Let's see if they can do it again here.
Hunter on the deck. Hunter inside the free throw line. Kicks it outside for Johnson for 3. Too strong. And an easy rebound for Manial. Another one of the transfers from Drake. They have 5 guys that came with Ben McCollum from Drake. Sturts has not gotten a shot off yet, but you can see the attention that he draws. Here's the first shot of the game, and it's in and out. And they get back quickly after they take a shot.
Well, when you play a slow pace, you have to. You can't let the other guys get back in transition.
Davidson has a size advantage on Sturts, tries to swing it to the corner. Again, they don't panic.
Well, you talk about Iowa's ability to play at the end of the clock. Look at that. The shot is released with basically 1 second left on the shot clock, but it's not a rushed thing at all. They are very patient.
Shot clock is 15.
Got to get Godfrey the ball inside.
They're actually making sure the shot clock is okay. They went down to 1.7. I think they want to get it to 17. There it is. They wanted to add 2 seconds.
Well, Brad Brownell will take the extra 2 seconds.
Yes, he will. Awkwardly into Davidson. Koch covers him up. Johnson up top. Hands the ball off to Hunter. Back to Johnson. Hunter with 5 on the shot clock. Winding down off the screen. I don't know if he realizes it. Yes, he does. 2 on the shot clock. Too strong. Ball's tipped around. Clemson with the offensive board. Godfrey to the corner. Godfrey, he'll take the 3. How about that, Dan?
Well, it's only his 10th of the year, and the reason Godfrey is open out there is he's not a very good three-point shooter. He needs to get close to the basket.
2-point lead for the Hawkeyes. Sturts, 2-man game with Manial.
Sturts is just unflappable. You know, nothing bothers him.
Step back 3. It's good. His first bucket of the game.
And missed a similar shot on a possession before, went right back to it. But the thing with Iowa, they move the ball, they spread the wealth, but the ball always goes back to Sturts at the end of the shot clock, and they rely on him making those decisions.
Yeah, Sturts averages 20 points per game. Last year, he was the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. Made the transfer to Iowa, and he made it rather smoothly. All Big Ten selection. Godfrey stumbling to the basket.
And Iowa getting on the board. A lot of what they've done this season has rode or died with Sturts. Iowa up by 5. We are queuing Rocky Top in our house. And listen, all my friends that text me saying good luck against Miami of Ohio. We live to see another day.
Godfrey's first free throw is good, 66%. RJ Godfrey, who began his career at Clemson and then transferred to Georgia for 1 year. When he met with Brad Brownell, the head coach of Clemson, before he left, he said both of them were in tears. And then after a year at Georgia, he transferred back to Clemson, and both said it was a very easy decision for him to come back to the Tigers. On both ends, for a variety of reasons. Sturts open for 3. Sturts 1 for 3 from beyond the arc. Maniau is fouled.
And you're talking about RJ Godfrey, and you know, he had a couple of pretty good years at Clemson, and you know, you get the opportunity to go someplace else and get paid a little bit more, and then you realize, okay, grass isn't always greener. And he's what did Brad Brownell call him? A Clemson man?
He's a Clemson man. That's exactly it. He said there's something in these hills that make you fall in love. I'm just so grateful I had the opportunity to come back. As the officials are taking a look at the shot clock again to make sure it's okay. I don't know, guys. Does it say a lot for a coach? I know it helps his team to be able to welcome somebody back to a program after stepping away for a year.
Again, sometimes you have to realize, like you said, Dan, you step away and you realize that you need to come back and be where you are and be where your feet are.
Right.
Obviously, Clemson is a win-win on both sides.
Sturts hovering to the right wing. Up top to Combs, off the screen. Combs shot clock at 5. His runner with the other hand is good.
And again, shot clock at 5.
Right.
Gets a pretty good shot.
And I ran across the stat, 4 seconds in the shot clock, 13.7% of their possessions. They take a shot under 4 seconds. They are comfortable running offense like that.
A lot of confidence, knowing each other too. We said a lot of them transferred over from Drake. Davidson in the paint. Davidson a little short. Sturts with the rebound.
Boy, you have to make shots like that in the NCAA tournament, and Davidson's missed 2 of them now.
7-1 run for Iowa. Wallin is in the game for the first time for the Tigers.
And this is a situation where Combs goes one way, then comes back off the screen, and Davison doesn't get out in time. And, you know, even on defense, you have to be aware what the shot clock is. This is what you're talking about, Candace. They're very adept at scoring at the end of the clock.
Well, Banks to the free throw line, 81%. He converts. Banks, who spent 2 years at Northwest Florida State and then went to Drake. He was the 6th man of the year in the Missouri Valley last year. Is it surprising, guys, that, and this is nothing against Drake, but that it translates moving from the Missouri Valley to the Big Ten?
Well, that was the big question with Ben McCollum bringing his unit from Division II to MVC to now Big Ten, and it has. A system is a system, and I think Coach McCollum has proven that with his guys.
Yeah, he's
maybe guys who were told they weren't good enough to play in the Big Ten actually are.
That's exactly it. Godfrey.
There's Godfrey.
Yep, with a 2-handed slam. He's like a football player. I know his dad played football. He's like a football player in the middle.
Except he can shoot the ball pretty well.
Right.
Football players can't do that.
Bounce pass to the baseline. Combs gets it back to Sturts. Vulgaris is floating around. He's number 7 for Iowa. Shot clock is at 4. Combs for 3. It's good. Shot clock was at 3 when he released it.
And we asked Coach McCollum, what is the X factor in this game? And he said, if guys like Combs and Koch can knock down threes, it opens things up for the Hawkeyes.
Well, this is a situation where they finally get Godfrey involved, and that they got to do more of that. But Combs has been really good here early. Another screen. Godfrey doesn't come out to cover. And again, you have to do that late in the shot clock. Force him to make another pass.
Clemson will inbound. Ace Buckner with that wrap on his shoulder in the ball game for the Tigers. Godfrey along the baseline, backing his way in. Godfrey with a spin move, cut off for a moment. Shot is no good, gets his own rebound, lost it out of bounds. Watch whip around coverage of all men's games with Fast Break, presented by The Home Depot in the March Madness Live app.
And Clemson's trying to decide whether they're going to challenge this play. And they're not. Took him a while. Maybe the iPad isn't working.
You know, there was a change in the system last night, Dan. I don't know if you saw that or not. For the iPad. An upgrade.
An upgrade. Maybe it wasn't such an upgrade.
No, maybe not. Behind the back pass from Sturts. Three is good from the side. Fulgaris, his 32nd three of the season.
And when Fulgaris scores and plays well, guess what? The Hawkeyes win. That's a great sign.
Fulgaris, 6'9", 215 pounds. There's the answer for Clemson.
Clemson's issue all year has been offense. You know, they're really good defensively, but sometimes their poor play on offense puts a lot of pressure on the defense.
Fulgaris into the paint. He leans, doesn't get the angle, and Godfrey corrals it.
Right now, Clemson with a little bit of advantage in the full court.
Johnson from the corner. A little too much on it. Fulgaris almost traveled on that. Sturts. Fulgaris for three, right wing, too strong. And the rebound is taken down by Clemson.
Buckner is a guy who, as the season went on for Clemson, really provided some offense, and they really need some offense from him now.
Yeah, with Carter Welling being out with the torn ACL, he was slid back into the starting rotation. Godfrey forces his way into the paint. The putback no good. The tip around. Godfrey's got it. It'll kick it back out. Three from Buckner, short. He'll get the rebound. Buckner into the paint. Buckner didn't think there was a free path to the basket. 11:32 to play here in the first half. It's a 10-point lead. Sturts, he's got a bucket, but he also has some moves with the ball. Fulgaris canning the three. Iowa's jumped out to a 10-point lead. Not a whole lot of offense so far with 11:32 to play here in the first half. Moments ago, AJ caught up with Clemson coach Brad Brownell.
Coach, this is an Iowa team that tests your discipline with their patience. How would you say your guys have responded so far?
Yeah, not as well as we need to. Obviously, they're making shots. We're probably a little bit too far behind in some of our coverage, but, you know, offensively, we just got to relax. Obviously, the last possession, we had 3 chances right there and didn't score, but we need a couple just to energize us.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was amazing how many opportunities they had around the rim in the paint, and they couldn't score. Now, they ruled it a jump ball because they couldn't tell who knocked it out of bounds last. So Clemson will get the basketball. They get it into Johnson, and Johnson misses the layup.
That is 4 straight bunnies, 5 straight misses on that possession for Clemson. Just a lid on the rim here early.
3 for 15 so far for the Tigers.
And another 3 opportunity for the Iowa Hawkeyes. That's Isaiah Howard. Scored over 3,000 points in high school. 11:05 to play in the first half. Thompson gives it up. They go inside for Davidson. Slips it to Thompson. Tipped out of bounds by Sturts.
And Sturts, not the most athletic on the defensive end, but he uses his hands. He has great anticipation. And that's why Iowa's defense is so good. They're not going to pressure you and get up. They're very strategic and make you take looks that you don't want to.
Johnson going to the basket, trying to get some contact, lays it in.
I thought he was going to outsmart himself.
I thought the same thing. 8-point lead. Howard up top to Manyao. Sturts. Sturts is constantly moving. Howard up the screen from Banks. Shot clock is at 5. Banks backing his way in. Shot clock is at 3. Banks fade away. It's good.
How many baskets have they scored in the last 3 seconds of the shot clock?
And it's demoralizing for your defense. You play defense for 30 seconds for them to wind it down to 4 seconds and take a look.
Thompson down along the baseline. He's got a size advantage on Howard. Backing his way in. Ooh, nice spin move. And he can't finish it.
Clemson guys are saying that should be a goaltending.
Yeah, it looked like there was a hand in the net. Sturts, he'll get it back. Heading to the basket. Sturts high up off the glass, no good. And Thompson battling for the rebound, has it. To the corner. Will lean into the paint, didn't get that deep, didn't get a chance to finish it. Boy, they've missed a lot of those.
And he's 6'10", going up over Howard.
Yeah, they're now 4 of 18 from the floor.
And a lot of them have been really close range.
Nine, 10, and counting to play here in the first half. Sturts. Banks for 3, off the back of the iron.
Clemson's got to find some offense somewhere.
Buckner slices the defense. Buckner just grazed the side of the rim. They have 10 points in the first 11.5 minutes of this game. But on the flip side, Iowa only has 20.
And that's a testament to Iowa's pace. They can dominate a game without separating, which gives opponents an opportunity to stay within reach.
And Sturts is able to finish that one. He exploded right through the defense. It's kind of what we showed in the open. He can either go or pass.
And Sturts, how many screens and rescreens have we seen early in this first half? Just doing what he wants in the pick and roll.
Timeout called. 22-10. Slowly inching their way to halftime. Methodically running down the clock. Well, back here in Tampa, this is game 3 of our day. Seeds 4 and 5 in the Midwest region advanced in our earlier bracket. This is the South region. Clemson, the 8th seed against the number 9 seed Iowa. Clemson looking for a little offense from Hunter. Godfrey, high post. Shot clock is down to 4. He feeds inside. Davidson backing his way in. Shot clock at 1, and that's a good finish.
And Davidson easing the run of Iowa, getting 1 in the paint to go. Obviously, we talked about Carter Welling and that injury and the impact on the front court of Clemson, but also Welling was someone you could throw the ball into and get some easy buckets in the paint.
Sturts will reset the offense. Sturts for 3, way downtown, no good. Fulgaris with the rebound.
Clemson's going with a little bit smaller lineup, playing 3 guards with their 2 inside guys.
Shot clock is at 5. Iowa realizes Sturts fadeaway jumper, just throwing it up. It's no good. Rebound is taken down by Godfrey, and a foul against the Hawkeyes. 7:03 left to play in the first half. Iowa, 22 points, has the lead. Ben McCollum, he's like a wizard. Here in Tampa, Iowa has a 10-point lead. Moments ago, AJ caught up with Ben McCollum.
Coach, you're getting some good looks offensively. Defensively, you said you had to counter Clemson's physicality. What do you think about your balance to start here?
We're doing okay. I mean, we got that late duck in right there. Offensively, we're not getting to actions unless we have a certain lineup in. Then they get tired. Our other guys have got to get involved, get to screens, get to the next action a lot faster. We're just not there yet.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
I have to be honest with you, I don't know how coaches' voices bounce back from one game to the next.
Well, and I agree with you, but are coaches ever happy about anything?
he was
I
great.
mean, good heavens, their defense, they're on a pace to hold Clemson to like 20 points in the first half, and he's mad that Clemson scored a basket.
Might be that he's only got 22 points on the offensive end. He thinks he probably should be a little deeper. Under 7 minutes to play in the first half. Godfrey puts it on the deck, fakes the handoff, and his feed into Davidson is stolen away. Bulgaris leads, bangs to the basket, and was blocked by the bottom of the rim, bottom of the backboard. Hunter to Godfrey. Porter for 3. Too much muscle.
And again, Porter's a guy who started the year shooting the 3 very well, really tailed off during conference play, and Clemson could really use a boost from him from beyond the arc.
Combs to the corner for Banks up top for Koch. Banks was surprised he got it back that quickly. Shot clock is down again. Sturts with the shot clock at 3. Bulgaris shot clock is at 1. He lets it fly. It's going to be an air ball and a violation. We mentioned Clemson is without Carter Welling, who's dealing with a torn ACL in the ACC tournament. They also lost Zach Foster earlier this season, the freshman guard who had appeared in 12 games. But Welling was kind of like their stabilizer. It's also a really good post-game interview. Pass down low, cut off by Sturts.
Boy, this Iowa defense, they've got really good hands and anticipation. Clemson's guards are thinking there's an opening, and by the time they wind up to throw the pass, it's gone.
You think that's just style, or do you think it's from playing together so often?
I think it's probably both.
Again, the shot clock is under 10. Combs, Banks lost it, out of bounds.
And Clemson not too shabby on that end of the floor, doing a good job of taking the ball out of Bennett Sturt's hands, making him work. He's early, 2 of 7 from the field. They only have 2 points in the last 5 minutes and 27 seconds. So Clemson doing all they can to stay in this game.
Well, they're doing it, staying in the game defensively. They've got to get their offense going.
Johnson double team to Godfrey. Godfrey's got the power on the defenders, and he's able to get the bucket. It's only the 4th point in the last 5.5 minutes for Clemson, but they're within 8.
But Clemson's getting good looks.
They are.
It's just they have to knock them down, especially those easy bunnies around the rim.
Bulgaris leaves it for Sturts. Sturts to the corner. Extra pass for Combs. Combs to Koch. Bulgaris for 3. No good. Banks with the offensive rebound. Instead of going right up, he tried to pass it out, and Clemson steps out of bounds.
But that's an offensive rebound created by all that ball movement. The defense is flying around trying to cover, trying to catch the ball. Really good one-handed rebound. Banks is an excellent offensive rebound.
Okay, he averages 5 rebounds per game, nearly 2 offensive boards a game. We'll take a break. Manial is back in. And one. Count the bucket as Combs goes to the free throw line.
They just keep attacking. And how discouraging is that? You battle your way back in. It's so difficult to score. And then just when you think you're rolling a little bit, the other guys get an opportunity for a 3-point play.
Well, on a night that Ben Sturts is 2 of 7 to start, you got to be proud if you're Coach McCollum of the other guys. Combs coming out aggressive early offensively.
Well, Combs is able to convert the 3-point play. Mentioned how close this team is. Combs and Manial, they played against each other in high school. Their relationship began with a grudge, but now they're roommates at Iowa. Hunter, his turnaround jumper is a beauty.
And that's a great cut off of the backside by Hunter to get something at the rim.
That's some catching traffic.
It really is. Yeah, that hasn't been productive for them today. It was there. Bulgaris leaves it off for Sturts. And Sturts is fouled. He did toss it up. Sturts is caught toward the camera operators. Little backdoor look. And a little sweet finish for the Tigers. Our game summary, it's Iowa 25, Clemson 16, 4 3-pointers for the Hawkeyes. Just 1 of 7 for Clemson. That's not really the whole storyline. They've missed a lot of shots inside the paint and very close to the basket. And Bennett Sturts' family, his dad Roger, his mom Renee, they followed him during his time in Division II at Drake, and now here with the Iowa Hawkeyes.
He's certainly not explaining anything on that phone to somebody. He's got to be asking for help.
Well, they had dance cam up here. I don't know if he was trying to video. Sturts missed the first free throw. He doesn't miss much. Coming up on AT&T at the half, get all the scores and highlights, plus the latest NCAA tournament news. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half. Second shot for Sturts. It's good.
And now if you're Iowa, what you want to do here in the last 3:44 is continue to pressure Clemson defensively. You've dominated the first half, although you don't have a big lead, and you certainly don't want the Tigers to get on a roll here.
Johnson trying to get that roll started, and he does.
And Johnson's steadying the ship for Clemson. Let's see if they can get the threes raining from downtown, as there seemed to be a lid on the rim, but sometimes when you see one go in, others follow.
Bulgaris swings it to Koch. Up top to Sturts, looks up at the clock. Koch for 3. It's good. In rhythm.
It's just great movement of the players and the ball. That's really tough to defend.
But it's back to a 10-point margin. Davidson open for a moment. Up top, 3-pointer for the Tigers. It's good. He splashes it home. Butter Johnson, smooth like butter. Four straight makes for Clemson. Sturts, Maniau. We tried to get a little fancy with Bulgaris. Here come the Tigers. Hunter gives up his dribble. Davidson. Godfrey's got position down low. Spin move, caught underneath. Kicks it up top.
That's good defense by Combs.
Johnson with the shot clock at 7, lets it fly. Ball's tipped around, and the rebound is run down by the Hawkeyes.
And I like the previous 2 looks by Johnson. They were coming off a pin down screen. It was in rhythm. That he was forced to take a contested step back as a result of the shot clock.
Yeah, the key to that was Combs, though, preventing Godfrey from getting a shot in a mismatch situation.
Sturts going to the basket. Sturts runner, and he's fouled going up. So let's take a look at the Built Better moment presented by Body Armor. Iowa running down the clock and then taking a shot.
Yeah, Combs getting downhill. Nice floater. Check the shot clock. 3, 2, 1, buckets. Iowa is accustomed to playing just like this. And what does it do to the Clemson defense? It's demoralizing. Yeah. You play solid defense the entire possession for Iowa to comfortably take a good shot.
And I think that's the key, Candace, comfortably take a good shot. There are a lot of teams that take shots at the end of the shot clock, but most of the time they're rushed. And this guy, I mean, he never changes his expression. He's completely unflappable.
Well, he made both free throws. Tate Sage is in for the first time for the Hawkeyes. He had 8 points off the bench in the game against Ohio State that knocked Iowa out of the Big Ten. Buckner cut off as he went on the baseline. Hunter. Davidson, that's a tough pass. Sturts steals it.
And again, great anticipation by Sturts.
No look pass, and Sage is fouled going up.
Davidson went the wrong way. You know, on that screen, he should have popped out. Instead, he goes in the middle of traffic, and they lose the ball.
Watch your eyes right here. throwing it up.
Can you imagine if this had been converted? I mean, this would have been one of the sweeter alley-oops that we've seen.
That was not really a great alley-oop pass.
No. Sage missed the first one. House of the Dragon is back. Prepare for a new season of the most epic show on TV. The battle begins this June, only on HBO Max. Sage is a 72% free throw shooter. Freshman. Ben McCollum saw him when he was at Drake, and that's when he recruited him and got him to come to Iowa. Under a minute to play. Thompson. Extra pass to Porter. Up top three is good. A sweet stroke from Dylan Hunter.
And it's good to feel good going into halftime. Clemson knocking down some threes, getting the rust off a little bit. Have knocked down 4 later here in this first half.
Yeah, they've whittled this lead down to 7. They'll get the ball back even if Iowa makes a basket here.
They just keep moving.
They do. Shot clock is at 5. Sturts fadeaway 3. No good. Maybe they won't get the ball back. Sturts off the rebound by Howard.
And again, another offensive rebound for Iowa that's created by the fact that the defense isn't in position to block out.
5 offensive rebounds. Sturts with the clock winding down to the corner for Banks. No good. And the rebound is pulled down by Wallin. And that is the end of a low-scoring first half. As Iowa takes a 32-25 lead, they've won 17 games when they have the lead at the half. Let's go to AJ, who's with Cal Combs.
Yeah, Cal leading the way with 11 points, but you guys spread the ball around. We're crashing the boards. How do you keep that same energy in the second half?
I think just keep on getting the multiple actions and keep on moving the ball, getting everybody involved, and then get them in rotation.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, he is the leading scorer for the Iowa Hawkeyes with those 11 points. They have the lead. We're at halftime. It's 32-25 Hawkeyes. Back here in Tampa where Iowa has the lead 32-25. 3-point shooting. Iowa 5 for 15. Clemson meanwhile 4 for 11. These are our Geico stats from the first half. Iowa's out rebounding Clemson 18-13. We mentioned before Iowa 17-4 this season when leading at the half. Moments ago, AJ caught up with Butta Johnson.
Butta with the smooth like Butta jumper at the end of the half there, helping to narrow the gap to 7. What do you guys got to do to get into more of an offensive rhythm here in the second half?
Just continue to move the ball, but also just stick to our game plan. You know, we missed a lot of chippy little layups around the rim, so just got to settle down around the rim and finish in the paint, and just continue to shoot on the outside and make shots.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Thanks.
You know, they made 3 of their last 4 threes, which brought them within reach of Iowa. They're actually fortunate that Iowa hasn't really scored a whole lot of points either.
Yeah, Iowa doing all they can. The others are stepping up to the plate as Bennett Sturts has struggled, just 2 of 8 in this first half.
Well, he struggled, but he's got 8 points. He's got 2 assists. He's got 2 steals. And everybody who's been trying to guard him is bruised and battered because all he does is bounce you off screens.
Well, Iowa with the basketball to begin the second half with a chance to move on to the second round on Sunday. And Yao gives it off to Sturts.
Look at how spread the court is.
Yeah, Sturts gets everything set, fires the 3. I shouldn't even say fires the 3. He just lofted the 3.
And you knew it wasn't going to be long before Sturts was able to get to his spots, as Iowa was able to stay in this without their superstar scoring the way that we're accustomed to them scoring. But honestly, Iowa has been the more physical team. +5 on the boards, has gotten to the free throw line more than Clemson.
Well, you look at the possessions per game for both teams. Both are near the bottom in college basketball, and there were 27 possessions in the first half. Johnson running the offense for the Tigers. Everybody's covered up. He finally gets it up top for Hunter. Shot clock is under 10. Hunter puts it on the deck. Hunter goes in, swatted away by Manyao.
And Manyao, 6'9", gets up to block that shot into the 5th row.
They go into Godfrey, and Godfrey cannot get enough of the angle to get that bucket to go down. He is frustrated with himself.
Well, and that's been a frustrating thing for the Tigers all night long. They've been able to get the ball in there. At least they were early in the game, but they couldn't convert.
Sturtz pass to Banks. Banks got control. And he finally tries to go up. It's blocked by the bottom of the backboard. Maniau to Sturtz. Sturtz sweeps it back up to the wing for Koch. His three no good. And Sturtz with the rebound. An offensive board for the Hawkeyes.
Of course he got the rebound.
He played all 20 minutes of the first half. Combs, we're going to have a tie-up. Yep, we have a jump ball, and the possession goes to the Tigers.
And Combs right there, getting a little bit deep within that paint with no plan. We saw earlier in our games, when the guards go in there a little deep without a plan, usually bad things happen.
Because the big fellas, they're not really going to move from the paint, so they're there to kind of smother things.
Clemson still can't get anything going on offense.
Three-pointer from the right wing. Porter off the side of the rim. Rebound is run down by Hunter. Hunter along the baseline. Hunter underneath. Kicks it back up for Davidson for three. And a rebound taken out by Combs. 2 minutes gone by here in the second half. 35-25.
Oh, that's a travel.
And a traveling violation. Ben McCollum saw it even before the whistle blew. Dabo Sweeney is in the house. He knows a thing or two about winning national championships and popcorn. The Clemson football coach so supportive of some of the other sports. There's a baseball game going on right now. Clemson is playing as we speak. Godfrey wide open underneath. Tried to get repositioned, trying to strengthen his way up, and he's fouled by Banks.
Godfrey didn't catch that ball cleanly, and you have to catch it before you can maneuver.
32 chefs compete in a bracket competition. Only one will taste victory. Watch an all-new Tournament of Champions Sunday night at 8 on Food Network. Godfrey to the free throw line, 66%. And he feeds it.
And we've been talking about Clemson's offensive struggles, and part of that has to do with Ben McCullough's defense. I mean, Iowa has done a really nice job forcing Clemson away from the places where Clemson wants to go.
They're daring Clemson to take the outside shot. They're living with a contested three-point shot and kind of taking it away in the paint, making things difficult.
The ball is poked out by Godfrey. Maniau. Ian Cottrell on the perimeter, back to Sturtz. Covered up by Hunter. Shot clock under 10, and whistle blows, and a foul is called. That'll go on Dylan Hunter. That'll be his first.
I think Dylan Hunter thought that an offensive foul was called on that screen by Maniau. Instead, to his surprise, he got the call.
So a fresh 20 for the Hawkeyes. Two-man game up top. Sturtz and Combs. Combs, stutter step, fadeaway jumper from 18. I think we got an over the back. Yep. I think I may be wrong, but I think that's an over the back.
You suspect that that is the case. This is a great block out by Davison, but it's the guy who's came over the back was Banks, and it was over Godfrey's back.
Well, that's 3 on Banks, and Howard is going to come in. All right, so 9-point game, 3-possession ball game. Quick feed, Godfrey slams it home, and he's fouled by Maniau.
A little misdirection to go into the big fella. Finishes it. And the best way with touch is just dunk it.
Dunk it.
Just dunk it.
This is a really good pass, and Maniau goes for the steal, and that's something that he hasn't been doing. And if he just gets in between Godfrey and the basket, Godfrey can't dunk that ball.
And the friendly bounce from Godfrey. It's a 6-point game. All right, so Clemson is pulled within reach A couple substitutions. The Godfrey family is here to support RJ.
Apparently we need to get in on the popcorn.
Yeah, the popcorn is
very
a big
popular
deal here.
Yeah, it seems very popular. Combs covered up top by Buckner. Sturts. Combs rolls off the screen. Sturts on the curl. Sturts was left open. Sturts missed. And the rebound is taken down by Clemson. Wallin got position, and here come the Tigers, down by 6.
Their defense is keeping them in it.
Buckner skips it. Nice fake by Hunter. Gives it to Thompson. Thompson up off the glass. It's good. He shot it as he was coming down. He thought there was a foul.
He held on to that a long time.
Iowa's been held scoreless for the last 3.5 minutes. Sturts to the corner. 3. No good. Ball tipped out. Sturts will get it back.
Boy, if you're Clemson, that's just a killer.
Sturts wide open for 3, right wing. And he doesn't get the bounce off the rim. They run out for the rebound, and the Tigers corral it. It's Dylan Hunter.
And the Clemson Tigers keeping Sturts out of the paint. They are living with contested fallback threes. They aren't dropping right now, and because of that, they're still in this ball game.
Yeah, Davidson is fouled on the floor. 35-31. The Tigers are creeping closer and closer to the Hawkeyes. Their defense is turning into offense. All right, Jamie, here it's a 4-point game. Congratulations to Braden Smith. I'll be honest with you, when Bobby Hurley set that record, I wasn't sure if anybody would stay around long enough to break that record. But he is such a good system guy, Braden Smith is. Here Davidson tried to slam it. He went up a little short. But Clemson gets the rebound back. 35-31. They'll go for a 3. In and out. No good. And again, Clemson runs it down. Dylan Hunter's been all over the floor.
Boy, isn't that the Clemson offense in capsule right there?
Buckner for 3. No good. And a rebound pulled down by Isaiah Howard. Again, Iowa's gone nearly 5 minutes without a point.
And Clemson just 2 possessions where they've gotten 3 to 4 looks at the basket, and they just cannot get one to go down.
Including a dunk.
Manyao to the wing. Sturts, little bump. 5, shot clock is at 5. Sturts gives up his dribble. Sage, his 3 with the shot clock winding down. No good. Manyao with the rebound. And a whistle blows and a foul is called. AJ, what's going on in the huddles?
I can tell you Ben McCollum was livid in that last timeout, telling his guys, you can't keep standing around just looking at the ball. You have to move around. You can't also wait for a screen to get open and have those open looks. He wants guys moving with the ball, without the ball rather, and moving to get into their open shots.
In reality, that's what they did in the first half and did it rather effectively. But credit Clemson, because you guys have mentioned it. They've kept Sturts out of the paint. Here's Sage, who has a block from behind. Wallin brings it up the floor. They go down to Godfrey. Godfrey along the baseline. Quick spin move against Manyao. Big body against big body, and Godfrey gets it to go. The last time it was a 2-point game was back when it was 5-3. And it's 35-33.
And the Clemson defense has brought them back.
Sturts, Manyao, back to Sturts, open for 3. Yes!
I don't know if that's a good idea if you're Clemson. Obviously, Sturts not having his normal offensive showing, but once he gives it up, you can't allow him to get it back, especially on a catch-and-shoot 3.
Clemson's done a heck of a job in the second half, clawing back into this game.
Well, they have, and they've done it with really forcing Bennett Sturts out of the lane. It's been really difficult for him to get in there and score when he gets in there. This is what we're talking about. He really gets going, gets the Iowa offense going when he can get in the lane, but not so much tonight. And think about this. Clemson has come back in this second half, despite the fact that they've made only 3 field goals.
Yeah, it's 8-6 in the second half, and we're nearly 7 minutes into it. Well, Clemson with the basketball, down by 5. Buckner to the left wing. That is an air ball. The ball is saved along the baseline. Wallin had a good look.
Well, it was a bad pass. He had to lean over to get it, and then he went too fast. He didn't collect himself.
Sturts off the screen.
And if you're Iowa here, I would love the pick and roll with Sturts in the middle. Let's see if the ball can touch the paint.
Mannion to Koch. Koch for three. Koch no good. Mannion with the rebound. Skips it back out for Howard. And he'll give it right off to Sturts, who will reset the offense. Sage, right side. Sage keeps his pivot foot, leans in, lays it in.
Beautiful footwork. Patience on display by Iowa. The others right now making plays.
Just a freshman. He averages 6 a game. Sturts is covering up Hunter. Buckner. Little swing to the left side of the lane. High off the glass. No good. Mannion with their cleanup.
And great defense by Iowa without fouling.
Absolutely, and Mannion is doing a tremendous job keeping the ball away from Godfrey on the inside. Clemson looks in there, but Mannion's got him covered up.
Mannion, who talked earlier this year about going from Drake to Iowa, he said it's not about my scoring, it's more about the team's wins. And how about Sage, the freshman?
And right there, Coach McCollum orchestrated that dribble drive. They understood that Tate Sage had the advantage for foot speed, went right at Thompson, cleared out the backside. Great executed play.
So a 7-0 run all of a sudden for the Hawkeyes.
You know, we just talked about how Clemson was able to get back into it with their defense, and they were, but their offense continues to lag, and so now they've fallen behind again. You can't put that much pressure on your defense over and over again.
Sage, who was listed as the 365th recruit in high school basketball. McCollum saw him at an AAU game with his twin brother. He was sitting there with the Pittsburgh State coach, and he said, man, I like these two twins. The one twin went to Pittsburgh State, and Sage goes to Iowa. 42-33. Godfrey called for the foul. Under 12 timeout here in Tampa. It's the lead story every night on the sports channels. Stanley Cups will do that for you. Sturts backdoor. Better pass. Maybe he could have laid it in. Sage will pull it out. He's had the hot hand recently. Sturts with the shot clock down to 5. Fadeaway jumper like he's playing in his backyard. No good. The putback, though, is good. Fulgaris was there to clean it up.
And again, Fulgaris doing a great job. Offensive rebound. That was their 12th offensive rebound. 9th second chance point compared to Clemson on the other side. 8 offensive rebounds, and they have not been able to have one second chance point.
But Sturts created that whole thing.
He sure
drives
did.
into the lane, everybody chases him.
Wallin for 3, no good. Porter runs down the rebound. Whistle blows, so another offensive board for Clemson as Davidson is fouled. It's a busy time of year for Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the Atlantic Coast Conference. In fact, he seems to find his way at all these different sites watching his teams play. Get a chance to catch up with Clemson now. That is a Clemson tie, I guess.
You sure it's not Tennessee?
No, it's Clemson tie.
Oh, I thought it was Tennessee orange. Okay.
Davidson on the inbound is fouled, going up. This has been a nice year for the Atlantic Coast Conference. Of course, they got the #1 overall seed in Duke. They have 8 teams in the NCAA tournament, doubled up last year, although one has already been knocked out in North Carolina. NC State was knocked out as well. And now Davidson to the free throw line.
That was a game last night.
It was a game.
Overtime thriller.
First free throw is good. Watch every men's game live on your computer, phone, tablet, or streaming device with NCAA March Madness Live. Download now to stay up to date on all the action. Yeah, VCU was down 19 against North Carolina and came back and won in overtime. Second shot is good for Davidson. Godfrey will check in. (44-35). I like that from Davidson. Being counseled by Brad Brownell, and then he goes, "Okay, I got you, coach. I got to hit him in the back." Whoop! Sturts. Oh, right on the face of Hunter.
Did you see Ben McCullum, the reaction that he had to Fulgueras?
Yes, I did.
That was classic.
Oh. Ooh. And watch if you see McCullum. Ready? No, you missed it there. Right after that. He's
and
like,
Iowa only has 1 turnover on the game.
Sage heads to the basket, sweeps it up top. Fulgueras going to the basket, fouled from behind. Count it, N1. Wallin with the foul.
And again, this is something that's created by ball movement. You force the defense to move, and then Wallin just never gets in position to try to stop that drive. And Iowa's gotten contributions from a lot of different guys.
So here's Fulgueras, who did not transfer from Drake. He transferred from Robert Morris.
Coach McCullum clapping him up off of that almost turnover into a 3-point play.
12-point lead is the largest for Iowa. Hunter, little jab step into the paint. Runner is no good. And Sage with the rebound.
He got into the lane, but there's 5 black shirts there, and that's a really tough shot. If you're the Iowa defense, you'll give up that shot every time.
Sturts looks up. Now going through the defense, tried to leave it for Fulgueras, but it's picked off by Clemson. Johnson leans in for Godfrey. Size advantage. Godfrey lays it in.
Right there, we call that a double bury.
Oh, he buried him
You're
all right.
that size right there. Godfrey doing a good job of finishing on that possession.
And holding the position, he did a great job because he was open for a while before they saw him.
Yeah, he does have great physical presence. 9.5 left to play in the second half. 10-point lead. The winner moves on to Sunday with a possible matchup against #1. Sage off the pass. He's fouled. Count it.
Sage finishing that, but how about Fulgueras with a little smitty on the fake shimmy to get baseline to find the cutting shade. Watch this little smitty work right there. Shout out to Steve Smith. Tate Sage taking the contact, getting to the line. That's a little no look.
Well, and Fulgueras, I mean, to spin that way, the big guys for Iowa are getting some dribble penetration.
They sure are. Well, to send Sage to the line, he has 7. He still has 7. And Clemson with the rebound, down 12.
Well, Clemson, we spoke about their depth to start this game, how they do it by committee. Well, Iowa's bench has done it by committee. 15-4 advantage for Iowa's bench.
Johnson launches a 3. And Sturts pulls the rebound off the floor.
Well, Clemson, they've only have 2 players who have more than 3 points. And it's, if your committee can't score, then you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, that committee is 0 for 7 from beyond the arc in the second half. Sturts, Fulgueras. Fulgueras into the paint. Fulgueras stumbling to the basket. He's fouled. He'll get 2 free throws. And now a look from our AT&T connected cam. This is the big guy in the middle.
Big target right there, taking your time. Undersized is Combs. Godfrey holding position. We call that showing our numbers to the guards. They have no reason not to throw it if you show your numbers.
Well, he caught that ball with one hand because he was the other hand was being held. But he still got it.
I used to say it would be a 3-second call or a layup.
Were there times where you had to convince your point guard, listen, just get it to me inside?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
You know, that's the rally cry of all the posts.
Yeah, that's the wrong question. The guards never throw it to the post player.
Oh, I've heard.
You're kidding me? Now talk to a guard. It'll be the other way around.
Right. Clemson, nearly 30 points per game off the bench. And only 4 points today. Porter for 3. It's good. He rattles it home.
That inside action. Iowa doing a good job of keeping Godfrey out of the paint. Godfrey not settling, getting it back out to Porter for a much needed 3.
That's the first 3-pointer of the second half for the Tigers. 8 minutes to play in the second half. Combs. Fulgaris for 3. Off the front of the rim, tipped out, and it's tipped out by Koch.
Boy, another offensive rebound. You know, we've talked about how well Clemson's defense has played, but your defense isn't over until you have the ball.
51-40 with 7:36 to play here in the second half. There's emotion on the floor. There's emotion on the sidelines. It's for a chance to move on to Sunday's second round. Our game summary: Iowa has a season-high 13 offensive rebounds, 9 points off those 13 offensive rebounds. Godfrey leads the way with Clemson with 13 points. Well, let's take a look at what the Hawkeyes have been able to do on the boards. It really has helped them in this game.
Yes, if you're Iowa, you're accustomed to shooting 58% from 2, 35% from 3. Today, it is not that way, and as a result, they've stepped up their physicality. They've gone to the offensive glass, and they have 9 second-chance points.
AJ, what did the Clemson huddle look like?
Coach Brunell was telling his team they have to drive and kick and be ready to shoot. And he said defensively, they got to know their personnel, and they want to try and deny Bennett Sturtz down the stretch, guys.
And Koch is just fouled trying to shoot 3. That'll send him to the free throw line with 3 on the shot clock. That's the 3rd on Buckner. Buckner knew it too.
What is Buckner thinking about?
Yeah.
I mean, Koch is 6'8". Buckner's not going to block his shot. Well, that's a mistake, and a mistake you can ill afford at this point in a game like this.
Well, Buckner, who keeps evolving as a freshman, just made kind of a freshman mistake, as Dallas Thomas will check in, but he'll check in after the second free throw attempts. Brad Brownell just looked at him and said, "What are you doing?" Second shot is good.
It's been a very frustrating evening, I'm sure, for Brad Brownell. You know, defensively, other than the fact that they haven't gotten the kind of defensive rebounding that they usually get, I'm not sure he can ask his guys for much more.
True. And they just haven't scored points. It's a 14-point game. Davidson backing his way in. Davidson, easy path to the basket. That was really easy.
That's just what AJ reported. Drive the ball to the basket.
Right. I keep looking. Sturtz is still on the floor. Again, it looks like he's going to play the whole game. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Koch. LG OLED Evo, the best TV in the game.
A little push off right there by Koch, trying to get open off of ball reversal. See if Clemson can try to score on this offensive possession. With the pace that Iowa plays with, you got to make a run at this game right now.
No, you can't wait any longer.
Porter to the corner. Three-pointer is from Hunter. It's good. He splashed it home.
Well, Brad Brownell, that's what he told him to do. Drive and then kick it out for 3s.
Oh, it's down to a 9-point game. Each team with only 2 3-pointers in the second half.
And Johnson really trying hard to deny the ball to Sturtz.
Yeah, just don't let him get the basketball where he can start to create. No look pass. Combs too strong as he was diving under the hoop. Johnson cut off to the corner. Dallas Thomas for three. Off the bench, it's good.
Dallas Thomas knocking it down, came in for ace and has made a difference, knocking down a much-needed three.
He doesn't shoot a lot, but he's almost a 60% three-point shooter.
But that is tough to shoot cold off the bench.
Big time.
Not if you think you're a shooter.
Sturts goes inside the paint, deflected. Thomas with his hand on it. Sage saves it. Koch to Sturts. Sturts for three. No good.
I was going to say.
And Combs with the rebound. The shot clock horn went off, but the clock reset like it should have.
Well, nobody paid any attention to that shot clock, but that is just a killer that you play defense like that, but you can't get the ball.
Right here, Sturts with the three. Shot clock winding down. Great hustle by Iowa.
You know, it's a long rebound, but still.
Right.
You know, Nolan Richardson once explained to me that basketball is a pretty easy game. When you have the ball, you're on offense, and when you don't have the ball, you're on defense. And since you need the ball to score, you want to be on offense as much as possible, but your defense doesn't end, therefore, until you have the ball.
Very profound from Nolan Richardson. Take a listen to what went on. Yeah, so again, the shot clock did reset, but...
Well, and I thought the shot clock reset properly.
It did.
That's what they're looking at here. It had not gone to zeros at the point
Call
that
on the
ball
floor
hit the rim.
Is a common foul on Iowa.
So a
The
common
play is under
foul
further
called
review.
on Iowa. They're going to take a look and see if Dylan
Correction,
Hunter
the common
was...
foul is on Clemson.
Or now it's at Clemson, but they're going to take a look and see if there was an extra elbow in there as well. I have
So it had
that right,
nothing
don't
to do
I?
with the shot clock.
Nothing to do with the shot clock. But they might remind the shot clock operator to make sure everything's in sync. Here you see the contact underneath. That's what they're looking at.
Right here, Combs gets the rebound, goes in.
And their issue is, did Combs commit the foul?
Right on
with the
Dylan
elbow?
Hunter. Yep.
That's interesting.
Gene Steratore watching in our New York studios. Gene, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, that is what's happening, guys. I think that Hunter went to one of the officials and said, you know, I've got hit in my face. Official may be indecisive, didn't really see that contact, went on their own to take a look. To me, it's a defensive foul as Hunter's coming into space, the foul they had, and I don't think it elevates to anything that would list as a flagrant foul there.
All right, Gene, thank you. Yep, that's what they're saying. It's a common foul. Gene's watching a lot of games. He's got those two eyeballs on all these different games
After
going
review,
on.
the call on the floor, common foul number 2 of Clemson will stand. We'll shoot 2 free throws and play off of the free throws.
All right, so the 2 free throws will happen. It is just a common foul that'll go against Hunter. And it'll send Combs to the line. 5:31 left to play here in the second half.
You know, they battle back to within 6 and then can't get the defensive rebound.
And now each team in the bonus. Combs makes the first one. Bleacher Report is your one-stop destination for March Madness. Get every moment all tournament long with personalized updates and highlights from your favorite teams. Download the Bleacher Report app now. And now the second shot. It's good. So back to 8.
And Clemson on this offensive possession, they've had success with drive, draw, and kicks. If you're Iowa, you gotta stay home now on the perimeter and be a little bit more disciplined to not come into the paint.
Yeah, Clemson has made 5 consecutive field goals.
Well, and if you're Clemson, it's with the way the game, the pace of the game, it's almost like you have to score every time. You can't afford any mistakes here on this end.
Porter down to the baseline. Bounce pass to Johnson. Johnson working against Sturts. Davidson, nice screen. Good help by Manial. Porter, step back 3. He's open. It's good.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours. All you have to do is see one go in. As we've seen 3 threes here late for Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson has made 5 of its last 5 shots now, within 5 with under 5 to play.
Can you get a stop?
Sturts to the elbow. Boy, he just moves constantly. Maniau dives in, throws it up, no good. A foul is called. It's going to send him to the line.
Right here, Porter doing what Porter has done late in the season, knocking down the 3rd 3 of 5 straight offensive possessions where Clemson has scored. But on the other end, they hang their hat on the Clemson grit, getting stops defensively, but they have been unable to keep Iowa off the glass.
Maniau 60%, missed the first one. Get complete coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Tournament on NCAA.com. This is the 2nd free throw for Maniau. The basketball needs to be dried up a little bit.
And both coaches emphasize the need to be physical here and set the tone, right? Iowa already with 20. They're shooting their 21st free throw. Clemson only shooting 7.
Iowa, though, 15 of 21 from the line. And now Clemson down 5. Can pull within 2. Davidson with the screen. Hunter on Maniau. Good help by Sage. Porter for 3 again. Way short. And it's out of bounds before it was saved. Yeah, it's that kind of time. You lose, you go home, and everything gets more and more tense as the final minutes wind down.
Clemson, they've given themselves an opportunity, but again, they hang their hat on their defense. Can they get stops?
Whistle blows and a foul against Davidson.
And I don't think that was entirely unintentional.
Just to send Maniau back to the free throw line?
You know, I'm not sure that that's exactly what Brad Brownell told him to do, but Maniau just missed 2 and missed 2 badly. It's one way to get the ball back.
He might be playing the hack-a-shack here till the last 2 minutes to try to get Iowa out of their offense fluidity.
Oh, he missed his 3rd in a row.
There you go.
Yeah, Davidson looked over.
He looked over at the bench. You know, lots of times teams start fouling close to the end of the game, but you got to give yourself enough time here.
Second shot for Maniau. Oh, he makes that one, so he's made 1 of 4.
And it's still a 2-possession ball game with 4 minutes left.
And Clemson has shot the ball better in this second half from beyond the arc. Hunter underneath. Hunter slipped a little bit. Thomas, he thought about it. Inside to Davidson. Davidson pounding his way in against Banks. And he's fouled on the floor. I don't think they gave continuation on that. Banks' 3rd foul, make it his 4th. 6-point game. Tigers are still alive. Well, Clemson has climbed closer and closer. They've got themselves a scoring run, but they've also forced a scoring drought for Iowa. They've been able to find some shots at 3. How about Dallas Thomas off the bench for 3?
Yeah, Dallas Thomas off the bench cold, and they came alive at the right time just to try to get back in this. Obviously, with the slow pace that Iowa plays with, they have to make a run at this right here. But now we'll see if Clemson can knock down some free throws.
Speaking of knocking down free throws, you'll notice that Maniau is out of the game.
Yeah, Maniau is out. Banks is in. Koch is in. They've also brought Combs back in. Sturts doesn't go out. Davidson to the free throw line. Front end, no good. The 1 is no good. Now the rebound is taken down by Koch. Here's the foul trouble. Banks has 4, so he's in there with 4 fouls. So this is crunch time. Clemson trailed this at half. They've trailed the entire game, basically. It's a 6-point deficit. Iowa with the ball. Koch bobbles it. Gets it back, leans in, and draws the foul.
Well, Iowa continues to move the ball. Clemson chasing. Johnson just can't get back in position in time, and Koch has a big height advantage in there, and he uses it very effectively to get to the free throw line.
So Cooper Koch to the line.
And I'm with you on Sturtz not having his best outing, but trusting his teammates to make plays. He's not forcing bad shots. He's not playing outside of himself. He's trusting the Iowa offense and allowing his teammates to make plays.
They're trying to get everybody else involved.
Now, what was the term that they used? The gravity around him.
The gravity around him, yeah.
You know, he's like a magnet. He attracts attention, and that frees other people.
And he's bought into that also, the same terminology. The last 10 points for Iowa have come from the free throw line. The lead is back to 8.
Iowa going zone on this possession to try to take Clemson out of their rhythm.
Hunter. Porter, little hovering, shot clock winding down. Shot clock at 5, Godfrey back in, bobbles it. Godfrey with the shot clock at 2, finishes beautifully.
Well, that's what Godfrey can give you, but you're running out of time.
Yeah, he has 15 points, 6 of 10 from the floor, 6 rebounds.
You've got to think at this pace there might only be 4 possessions left in this ball game.
And Sturtz just hung out right at midcourt, and he's just dribbling around like he's in his backyard.
He's in no hurry.
There's the read. He'll get it back. Shot clock is at 2. He'll let it fly in and out. And the ball knocked out of bounds. I believe Davidson touched it last.
Davidson did touch it last. So again, you run it all the way down, and Brad Brownell, you can see him. They just can't get the rebound.
Yeah. 15 offensive rebounds for Iowa.
Great extra hustle by Fulgaris.
Well, not only did he hustle, but he was able to, still had enough energy to complain that he was fouled.
Looks like Clemson wants to challenge this.
Well, I think they're going to lose. There's no reason not to challenge it, though.
Yep, they're down 6. Who touched it last? Davidson, Fulgaris. We'll have a decision when we come back. Call on the floor is that it's Iowa basketball. Last touch by Davidson. Take a look at it one more time. With time winding down, Clemson.
After review, call stands. Iowa's ball. Unsuccessful challenge for Clemson. They'll have 0 remaining for the game. We charge a timeout.
So they'll be charged a timeout. They have no more challenges left, but I think Brad Brownell was probably thinking, I got to call a timeout anyway.
Well, and you know, you look at the replay in slow motion, it looks clear that Davidson knocked it out of bounds, but you know, there's a couple of hands there, and it's possible that maybe the Fulgaris is the last to touch it. There's no reason not to. You're running out of time. You need the basketball. You couldn't rebound it, so maybe you can get it on a challenge, but the challenge failed.
But down 6, this is still just a 2-possession ball game. You might need your challenge down the stretch.
Well, you might, but they're going to throw the ball in here to Bennett Sturtz, and he's going to play with it for a while.
Fulgaris is fouled by Davidson on the floor.
Well, Fulgaris had a different idea about that.
Yeah, he did.
He's actually done a nice job driving around the Clemson big guys out on the perimeter.
Yeah, former Horizon League Player of the Year, and his game seems to have translated to the Iowa game. Hawkeyes 11 of 16 from the free throw line in the second half, 12 of 17.
And again, think back to the fact that Clemson got him to run the clock all the way down, miss a shot, and then Clemson could not control the rebound.
Second free throw, it's good. Well, the net didn't even move on that at all. 8-point lead for the Hawkeyes. Davidson open for three. In and out, no good. Ball tipped out of bounds. And it's going to be Clemson basketball.
Well executed play by Clemson. Just can't get the ball to drop.
That's the right call by the officials. Tavion Banks did touch it last. And Godfrey is fouled from behind. It's Combs. That's his second.
And if you're Iowa, you're keeping the door open by allowing Clemson to score without the clock moving.
Yeah, because you get 2 from here on out, no matter what.
But can Clemson score when Davidson was there the last time he missed?
Well, the first of 2. It's good. 7 points for Davidson. Boy, when you're vested in your teams at this point in the game.
Oh, my.
Oof.
And when I tell you, it is a lot harder to watch than it is to play, if you can believe it.
Just talking to every coach, they say the same thing, that it's a lot harder for them to watch than being in the game.
Well, coaches can do a lot of things, but they can't play.
He knows that. And now the second shot. He cans it. 61-55. Again, you guys both have mentioned this. It's just a 2-possession game with 2 minutes left. And now Iowa will inbound with Clemson coming up full court pressure.
Well, they've got to speed the game up. If they want to get the ball back, this is a 2-possession game, but this is an Iowa team that likes the ball in Sturtz's hands and him making decisions.
Bulgaris to Sturtz.
And Sturtz, I mean, you may not have 2 possessions in this game.
Very true.
Sturtz in no hurry.
Right here, trying to exploit the mismatch. Clemson electing to switch on that.
Sturtz's runner, it doesn't go. And the rebound by Godfrey. A chance for the Tigers. 1.5 to play. Right to the rim. Buckner finishes. The freshman, or sophomore, excuse me, showing some composure. 61-57. Bulgaris dribbles away to the corner. A little keep away right now for Iowa.
They're confident in their ability to score at the end of the clock.
Yeah, they're clearing out right now for Combs. Shot clock is at 5. Combs going to the basket. Combs finishes. And a timeout called by Ben McCollum, who was like a bunny rabbit jumping up and down. 63-57. 56 seconds left to go. 63-57. The number 9 seed is trying to make it a clean sweep into the second round. Here's the last Iowa bucket. They cleared things out, not for Sturtz, but for Combs.
That was very interesting. Sturtz never handled the ball in this possession, but the attention that he draws, you're not going to leave him, and so that opens the lane for Combs, who does a great job. He's had a great game.
And by the way, there's still a minute left as Clemson goes over one last set of instructions. The supporting staff of Sturtz, this is what they've done tonight. He has 14, but they have 2 others in double figures.
Well, especially Cale Combs has made play after play, has been efficient, has defended on the other end. He showed up.
Hunter to Thomas. Thomas for 3. Ball's loose. Battle for the loose ball. And like a worm, Combs was squirming on the floor, and he's called for a travel. Whoop, whoop.
Did it touch the baseline?
I don't think it did. I thought he called a traveling violation.
Well, he was rolling around out there.
He was. Hassan is going to check in for the first time tonight. Now, that's partly because he's such a good free throw. No, he's not going to check in. Never mind. Oh, they're going to challenge it.
Well, but I think the officials telling him we called a traveling violation.
It was a traveling violation, yeah.
You can't challenge a traveling violation.
(63-57). I do not
From
think
that replay, I don't think the ball ever went out of bounds, but I thought they called a traveling violation.
I agree with that. That's what I thought also.
It looked like right here.
Yeah, it's not out.
Buckner's pointing at the out of bounds.
The ruling on the floor
line.
is the out of bounds. Clemson's ball. Iowa is challenging the play.
Challenge out of bounds. Okay? If he's not out of bounds, if he has possession, it'll be their ball. If he doesn't have possession, then we go with the AP. It would still be their ball. Okay. That's the only reason why I came over here.
Well, it's nice to have you here.
Why didn't shoot?
All right, so they have said that the ball may have gone out of bounds.
What they said was that it wasn't a traveling violation. They did rule that the ball was out of bounds. And the question now, was the ball ever out of bounds? And if the ball wasn't out of bounds, then the ball goes to Iowa. And it goes to Iowa either way. If Iowa had possession of the ball, then it's their ball. If they didn't have possession of the ball, they have the possession arrow.
Well, it didn't look like the ball went out of bounds.
It did not look like the ball went out of bounds.
It looked like Iowa had possession. So I'm going to say on this one.
Now, right here, look at his finger. Did that go out of bounds? No. And it doesn't appear that it did.
Gene, do you have your binoculars in New York about what this one looks like?
I have them. I'm zeroing in, and I think you guys are nailing it too. I don't believe the ball ever goes out of bounds either. But when the official blows his whistle, Combs has possession. So basically, you kind of have an inadvertent whistle situation because officials killed the play with possession with Iowa. So as you even said earlier as well, Iowa is going to retain this basketball on that reason, I believe, alone.
All right, we'll take another look at it as the officials are taking a look at it as well. Yeah, I don't think it went out right there. I'm with Gene.
That ball was never out. I mean, it was close. And in super slow motion, we can clearly see that it wasn't out of bounds, but I'm not sure that it's that clear if you're standing there looking at it.
All right, Chuck Jones is coming back over. He's going to explain it to everybody. Chuck is saying that he had possession.
After review, we have an inadvertent whistle.
An inadvertent whistle.
Was not out of bounds. It's
Gene
a successful
called it as an inadvertent whistle.
The game clock will be put 43-3. Get their timeout back.
43.3 on the clock.
The important thing there is they're going to get a reset of the shot clock. And it's going to reset to 30 because they recovered it in the backcourt, not in the front court.
But you've got to think with the two-possession game, Clemson can't allow too much time to go off the clock. They need to foul, and they need to put the ball in Sturt's hands to put him at the free throw line.
Well, there they go. They get it into Fulgaris. They break the press. There's Sturts. 34 seconds left.
Boy, they had a lot of chances to foul.
Yeah, they want to trap Fulgaris, and now he's fouled.
Yeah, that was way too much time going off the clock. I think your defense in the press, you try to go for a steal, but then you have to foul to extend this game.
So 27 seconds left. Fulgaris will go to the free throw line. Iowa is 20 of 27 from the line, 13 of 18 in the second half, making 14 of 19. And now the second shot.
So they've outscored Clemson by 14 points from the free throw line.
Yeah, again, they've only made one field goal in the last 8 minutes or so. And now if you're Banks, you got to go all the way back.
Well, you got to go and you got to get a three.
Hunter, shot clock is off. Game clock is at 20 and counting. Johnson for three. It's good. He rattled it home. Timeout called by Clemson. 5-point game, 16.7 to play. We'll take a timeout as well and be back to Tampa. And this is what happened off the inbounds. They didn't foul Iowa right away. See, this is earlier, a few moments ago.
This is where it comes back to bite you.
Look at all the time that came off the clock.
5-point game now with just 13 seconds left because of this possession. I understand not going to foul right away, going for a steal, giving yourself a chance, but you can't allow that much time to go off the clock.
It's almost 18 seconds that went off the clock, and even on that last inbounds where they trapped Sturts in the corner, he was able to call the timeout. There was also about 3.5, 4 seconds that went off the clock there.
But Sturts called that timeout, and I understand why, but he didn't even need to, because there's no 5-second call in the backcourt. So as long as he doesn't get himself tied up, and even if he does, they have the possession arrow, he can hang on to the ball. And right now, if he hangs on to the ball for 10 seconds, there's only 3 seconds left in the game.
Well, Combs will inbound along the baseline.
Got to get it inbounds, though.
You also got to get it inbounds, not in the corner.
Right.
But even if you get it inbounds in the corner, just hang on to the ball. You don't have to get it across half court in this situation.
They get it to Sturts.
Just hang on to it.
And he's finally fouled on the sideline with 10.9 to play. And an 85% free throw shooter will go to the line and try to make this a 3-possession game.
Iowa has been the more physical team. That's why they've been to the free throw line more. They've outscored Clemson 22-7 right at the moment from the line. Make that 23-7. They've outscored Clemson 16-4 in second chance points. Their defense really has made it difficult for Clemson to score for most of the night.
Well, Sturts just went into 5th place all time in points scored for a season for Iowa. He just passed Roy Marble. There's a foul underneath. 6.4 to play.
And did I just see Bennett Sturts actually smile?
A little bit of a smile. He smiled yesterday when he was talking to AJ.
Well, anybody would smile talking to AJ.
That is true. Ben McCollum's bringing his team over. That's because Banks just fouled out. So Banks is disqualified. You know, this is also a testament to Ben McCollum. You know, during his college career as a head coach, he has an .818 winning percentage in the NCAA tournament. Now, a lot of that's in Division II, but it still holds water.
When talking to Coach McCollum at practice yesterday, he said Division II allowed him to coach, make mistakes without all the noise.
Correct.
To prepare them for this big stage here in D1 in the NCAA tournament. Right now, 1-1, looking to go 2-1 in the NCAA tournament in his first 2 years, or first 3 years.
Buckner to the free throw line, makes that one. Godfrey's going to check in. Well, it's a 6-point game, 6.4 to play. If Clemson is going to have a prayer, a lot of things have to happen in a very short period of time.
And then, I gotta say, Iowa has to cooperate.
Right.
They haven't been doing it all night long.
Missed free throw. Koch with the board. Koch is going to hang on. And for the first time since 2019, all 9 seeds advance to the second round of the NCAA tournament as Iowa knocks off the number 8 seed Clemson 67-61 here in Tampa. And they will await the arrival of number 1 Florida or number 16 Prairie View A&M. Kind of methodical by the Iowa Hawkeyes, which we expected if they were going to win. It had to be somewhat methodical.
Yeah, it had to be somewhat methodical, but they did it with a total team effort on the offensive end. Of course, Sturts was the key to that whole thing, even though he didn't lead the team in scoring throughout the game. But I thought it was their defense was really good, and their ability to rebound the ball on the offensive end was very impressive.
And to take care of the ball. Iowa only 1 turnover on the day.
excellent for Iowa. AJ standing by with Bennett Stearns.
Bennett, always so cool under pressure. I think I saw you crack a smile down the stretch there. It was everybody chipping in for this win. What do you love about how this team steps up in big moments?
Yeah, first and foremost, just want to give all glory to God. He's given me the talents, and I just want to glorify him out there when I'm out here playing. I'm pretty emotionless out there and wanted to crack a smile because it's a fun moment. It goes by quick, and you just got to take it all in.
You should be smiling. You're on to the second round. It's your senior season. How special is it getting to at least play one more game with this group?
Super special. I mean, it's rare to play in the tournament, especially coming from D2. So you don't get to say that a lot. And, yeah, just like I said, taking it all in.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mom and Dad are all smiles on the sideline. So are the rest of the Iowa contingent as the Hawkeyes move on to Sunday's second round.